breaks, sprains and dislocations, and how to recognise if somebody might have broken a bone. So soft tissue injuries and broken bones can occur at any time, and they are incredibly painful, or they can be. Saying that, if you are in the middle of a match, your adrenaline may kick in or may already be kicked in, and adrenaline will stop you feeling the pain as much, and you will want to play through it, or you may want to play through it. So adrenaline will affect how much pain somebody experiences. Any nerve damage will also affect how much pain they experience. And if they have already taken some painkillers, that may also null and dim some of the sensation that they are experiencing. So if somebody is exercising or doing something and they suddenly experience pain, loss of power, unnatural movement, that would suggest a broken bone. So loss of power could also be a break, sprain or dislocation. And don't forget, we haven't got x-ray vision. So without an x-ray, we do not know for certain if a bone is broken or if it is soft tissue damage. So pain, loss of power, unnatural movement suggests that something is seriously wrong. Obviously, you would not flop it around like that. You would be supporting it and make sure that no further damage takes place. A break, a sprain, or will all have swelling, bruising, tenderness. So any of those tell you that there's something wrong, but they don't give you a further indication. If it is hugely deformed or irregular, then again, that is a fair indication that it's probably broken. And if you can hear that horrible sound of bones, ends of bones grinding together, it's called crepitus. So that sort of creaky sensation that sometimes older people, you might feel in older people who have osteoarthritis, you get that sort of creakiness. If that's happening in a joint, an injured joint, then again, that is an indication that there is something seriously wrong. And the other thing, obviously, if the bone is sticking out, then it is broken. So open fractures, the bone sticking out, they're your most serious ones to concentrate on first. Saying that, the other thing to concentrate on would be a pelvic fracture, which could be life-threatening. So in terms of life-threatening conditions, broken bones are usually somewhere near the bottom. They're not generally life-threatening injuries that people sustain. So in terms of classifying your injuries or your severity of a problem, a medical problem, if breathing is an issue, then that is obviously number one. Likewise, bleeding can also put them right up number one. Burns can also kill. Broken bones, somewhere down lower end of the worry scale, except with a pelvic fracture, because your pelvis is incredibly vascular and you can lose a huge amount of blood through your pelvis. So if you have someone who has come off a horse, come off a bicycle, that sort of injury generally where their legs are out and they've gone forward, it can be a real indicator of a fractured pelvis, or a real sign that you should look out for a fractured pelvis. You would never rock a pelvis. Very, very, very careful with what you're doing with a fractured pelvis. Get emergency medical help fast. It's a call an ambulance really quickly and explain what you think has happened. So key thing is, if you suspect they may have broken a bone, you will need them to get them to hospital to have an x-ray. A soft tissue injury what you're going to do is protect the injury, so support them, protect it, prevent any further damage occurring. So obviously if they're on the pitch, you will bring them off the pitch. You will keep the casualty warm and dry, and you will protect the injured joint. So you could use a sling, but actually the majority of times they will want to just hold on to their injured arm or whatever they've hurt. But you want to just protect it from further damage. You would never straighten out something that has strange movement, not in a basic first aid scenario. You would always get a properly trained health professional to be looking after them if there was something like that to be done. So really important that you are protecting them from further damage. You are resting the injury. You would be applying a wrapped ice pack, so wrap it in something. Ice can do damage, so make sure that that ice pack is properly wrapped. A friend of mine hurt themselves when they were playing tennis, and they put their leg onto an unwrapped ice pack that they just hopped out of the freezer, and they had their lunch. When they went and had a proper look at their injury, they found that they'd done quite severe tissue damage in having the weight of their legs sitting on the ice pack, and that had burnt through because ice burns. So ice packs, a wrapped ice pack, 10 minutes on the injury, take it off, give it a rub, and then you can replace it. Ice is really good at reducing the swelling and allowing the soft tissue injury to heal up. You would keep icing it for the next 24 hours, even longer, possibly 48 hours, and you wouldn't start using any warmth until it is healed up and you're then ready to mobilize it. People often get confused as to when it's cold and when it's heat. So that is what you're doing in terms of the cold. The cold is reducing down the swelling and getting everything to heal up properly. So you would be protecting it, resting it, elevate. So you apply your ice pack, and you do a comfortable support as well. It used to be called compression when you had your price or your rice that you wrote down as your mnemonic, but actually it's comfortable support, which is putting a bandage on to protect it from further injury. Now, when you are bandaging, you bandage either side of the joint, not just over the joint, because then you can actually compress it further and cut off the blood supply if you put it on too tight. So you're putting it from side to side to support the joint properly. So from here to here, likewise from, I can't do it, midfoot to calf, mid-calf to thigh, in order to support the joint properly. And you would choose an appropriate sized bandage to do that. And when you are bandaging, you are bandaging round, you are doing a nice figure of 8 across. Obviously I would be taking the watch off, across like that, and you are bandaging and supporting it. When you have put it on properly, you would then squeeze the nail bed to check that the colour comes back straight away, so that you know that you haven't put it on too tight. And you would keep checking that the circulation is still good, and if it doesn't get better, you need them to get to a hospital to have it x-rayed. I hope that's helpful. So that is breaks, sprains, dislocations, and what to look out for if you suspect a fracture.